Welcome back, guys. This is the Vancouver Hustler Show. I'm your host, Umair Khan.
And I'm your co-host, Joshua Adera.
And today we have Rochelle Prasad.
Yeah, here we come.
Some kind of...
Here we come. Here we come. Here we come.
She is a local in the community. She's really killing it. She runs Camp We. She's a musician. She's like really in the community. Give us a brief bio about yourself.
Ooh, okay, that's a toughie. Basically, to sum it up, I'm a community engagement ambassador, I guess we could say. Okay. And I do a bunch of things, such as community projects, Camp We. I work for the city of Surrey, so it kind of mixes a bunch of things. And then, yeah, musician stuff. So I'm like all over the place. But basically, if we were to give it a title, it would just be community engagement.
Community engagement.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And when did you get started doing community engagement?
Community engagement. When I was 4.
Wow.
But it's a long story. Do you want to hear it?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
of course we do. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll sum it up in 5 minutes.
No, take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
Okay. I like to tell this story. Normally, I tell this story. I call it the volunteering story, and I tell this to all the kids I work with. So I use the name Tom, but then by the end, it's like you figure out that it's like me. But I'm just gonna use the name Tom because it's easier to explain the story. Okay, so in elementary school, Tom was going on a field trip to Science World. Well, okay, never mind. That's just weird. I'll just use my name. I was going on a trip to Science World. And on the, you know, when we go on field trips in elementary school, we go on those like huge yellow school buses,
yep.
And it's like really dope, and we on music and we jam, you know, and the wheels almost go round and round, all that stuff. But as I was on this field trip, I noticed there's no seatbelts in school buses. Oh. So then that really triggered me a little because following before that field trip, in the news, like in the headlines, there was a story about a bus flipping over a bridge, and then like a couple students got injured, and then I was talking with my fam. I was like, why weren't there seatbelts on the school bus? But now I understand why there's not, because of the I don't know, the logistics behind planning a school bus. But anyway, this was like back in elementary school, and so then I went back home after that science field trip and wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Canada. I was a very bold kid growing up.
Wow.
So it's like in my head I was like, okay, the Prime Minister is going to get back to me. He's going to write a letter. It's going to work out. All will be well. So my mom and I sit down, draft a letter, and then we send it off. And then 2 weeks later, a hand mail letter comes back with his signature on the bottom, and it was Stephen Harper at the time. And then, so then it said that, oh, thank you for acknowledging. And then he wrote, or his secretary wrote, I don't know who wrote it, but he was like, would you like to make an action plan to help figure out this problem? So then, of course, I was like, you're back, that's so cool. Right. And then, yeah, that's epic. So then I went to my classmates, and then we're like, okay, there's no seatbelts in yellow school buses, and we have to do something about it. So we phoned up the TransLink and like all the transit people in Surrey, and we're like, let's make a plan. So we sat down with business developers in Surrey, and then we're like, okay, so what would it take to put one seatbelt in one school bus just to see if it's okay and if it works? And it took, I think it was like $12,000 to get one seatbelt in a school bus. So then we got sponsorship letters going and everything, got a seatbelt. So then,
yeah. How old were you? 12 grand?
Yeah, 12 grand.
How
for one
seatbelt?
seatbelt?
So it's okay. I was in grade 2, 3.
What?
One seatbelt, 12 grand.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Though. But dude,
Yeah.
think about how young she
Grade
was.
2, 3.
Right?
Yeah, who's
Oh
the mind behind this? Is this like you're giving the
You're
idea?
just creative?
I guess I had creative flows when I was younger, but I never really understood like what was going on.
Wow.
I I don't know. I was
a grade 4 kid going like, yo, you know what? I'm writing a letter to the Prime Minister. That's fucking
It needs
nuts.
to be a seatbelt. Because no, I did this thing when I was younger. If people were either getting hurt or if I saw bad things happening in our community, it was like, yo, we need to change this sort of thing. So I just had that mindset. And I blame this on the village that raised me when I grew up. I believe in the motto, it takes a village to raise a child. So then growing up, I was really surrounded by like people who used to volunteer in the community, and just my family. They're really like they talk a lot, so they know how to network and communicate. So I guess that's where I got my creative flow from, sort of, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the seatbelt thing went great. We did the test trial for 2 weeks. We got articles going, and a lot of people were like, oh, okay, this is cool. A bunch of 2 to 3 graders, they're doing something, it's awesome. And then they slowly started to tell us that, hey, we can't do this because this is not logistically okay for a school bus. So then they just kept that one seatbelt in the school bus, and it's still there to this day. So if any of y'all are in elementary school or high school and you're in school district 36, if you see a random seatbelt like on, I think it's like row number 3, that's because like some ambitious grade 2 to 3 year olds like way back when were like, yo, let's put a seatbelt on the school bus. So
That's nuts, man.
that's why.
That's nice.
That's
That's a round of applause,
Right.
man.
Thank you. It's a support system too.
Right?
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so to continue on the volunteering story, so that was like grade 2 to 3. So then in grade 5, I had an amazing teacher, and her name was Miss Dillon. And I'm pretty sure we've all had like empowering teachers over the years, and this teacher was like legit. She was like so epic. Shout out to Miss Dillon. She introduced me to something called Free the Children's, or they now call themselves Me Too We. And they're like an international charity that focuses locally, like local projects and global projects. And it's all about just empowering people to take action for a better world. So I got introduced to that, and then there's so many programs that they have, just like Girl Guides or Cadets. It's just like the same sort of thing. And then I was doing that in grade 5, and then in grade 6, we were given the task of planning a assembly. It was all about mentorship and bringing in community people to come speak. So again, in my head, I was like, okay, so the Prime Minister gave us a letter back, but what else can we do? Who can we invite to come speak to this, to all our students in this assembly, right? So then I was like, okay, we can't contact the Prime Minister. By we, I meant, like, I had like 7 friends in our group, and we always just talked to each other, so that's what I mean by we. So we reached out to, first of all, we had a couple of doctors that we want to reach out to, so we emailed them, phoned them. They're like, yo, no, we're busy saving lives, so we kind of can't come in. So we phoned up parents, and they're like, you know what, we're down with it, but we kind of have work schedules, and we all can think of something better. You can do it, whatever. So they're like, okay, we can't do it. And then I thought about contacting Diane Watts. She was the mayor of Surrey at the time, and normally mayors need like a year's notice to attend events. But we're like, okay, we're in grade like 5 and 6. Let's just try it. So we wrote an email. We got a phone call back like the next day. We're like, hey, she can make it. So that was really cool.
Wow. This is so interesting.
Grade 6?
Right?
Yeah, this just speaks to the volume of how like politicians and just leaders in our community, they're so humble and they're so willing to just be with you and just to like create initiatives together. It's like, it's amazing. So in grade 6, Diane Watts came down. She spoke to like hundreds of students at Synergy Elementary. This is like in Surrey. And it was a really cool event. And then grade 7 comes around, still part of the same things, all that stuff. Started volunteering a lot more in our community. If you have any questions, just stop me at any point. I'll just like...
No, this is so
answer
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Mind blown.
And then grade 8, I became a royal. So that's Queen Elizabeth. Beautiful high school if you know how to be a good student, I guess. Grade 8 came around, and then, okay, so in grade 8, I got really involved with the city of Surrey and like all things leadership and everything like that, and that's where I met people like Jay.Sene and Simi and all these amazing people. So in grade 8, I joined the Surrey Leadership Youth Council, which was run, coincidentally, by one of my coworkers sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
And so I've been in that since grade 8 to grade 12. So just being affiliated and being a part of that group gave me so much insight into how like the community works and like how to create things and stuff. So grade 8 was that, and then grade 9 was when a conference happened called the Surrey Leadership Action Conference, and this is where people of all sort of backgrounds come together, high schoolers, and they participate in this 3 days? It was 2 nights, 3 days, something like that, at Cloverdale Rec. It was all about innovative ideas and creating an action plan, and that's where there was this one group, and we named ourselves the Surrey, I have to get this right or someone's going to kill me, Surrey Youth Safety Council, and our whole goal was to reduce youth crime in our community, and I think we were able to do that. We shifted it by a little, which was awesome. We had an app coming out, we had workshops planned and everything, and this was co-founded by myself and Jay.Sene. So that's how I know him from.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, okay, we were both in grade, I was in grade 9 and was he in grade 8? I think he was in grade 8. That's dope. Now that I think about it, that's pretty cool. He's awesome. But yeah, we did that for a while, grade 8, 9, 10. And then in grade 10, remember that Me to We thing I was talking about?
Yeah.
Free the Children? It's like that teacher long ago.
Yeah.
She instilled in me values from Me to We, and they're all about traveling overseas as well. So she was like, she reached out to me in grade 10. She was like, do you want to go on a trip? I was like, where are we going? And she was like, it's not Mexico. It's not Hawaii. She was like, do you want to go to Ecuador? I was like, why would I want to go to Ecuador? Like, what's up? And she was like, no, do you want to go volunteer in Ecuador and like do stuff? I was like, yeah, I'm open-minded. And I was like, who am I going with? And she was like, strangers. I was like, what do you mean by strangers? And then she was like, kids from all over Canada, they normally go on these trips and they become best friends by the end of the trip. She showed me a video and it looked really cool. So then in grade 10, my parents bravely sent me to Ecuador. I loaded a plane with 24 other strangers from all around Canada. We were in Ecuador for 2.5 weeks. We did a bunch of building projects, a lot of well building stuff, just a lot of physical stuff that we were doing there building wise, and we just got really involved in the community, and we got to see how people live in developing countries and all that they go through. So that was really eye-opening for 14 to 16-year-olds. That was like something I've never experienced before. And
so what was it that you guys were building, like schools?
Yeah. So we're building it was a classroom, and the reason why Me Too We builds classrooms and not one big school is because the government in places like Ecuador, they don't give they give teachers based on school. So if you build one school, then they only give you one teacher. So if you build different like classrooms, they give you like 6 different teachers to like do that. So that's why they build like individual classrooms.
Cool.
But yeah, that was a trip of a lifetime. And then grade 11 came around, came back. Of course, like I'm 14 and a half, and then really empowered, really bubbly. It's like, yo, I just like went on a trip of a lifetime. Let's do something in a local community. So then I was always into leadership conferences growing up. So afterwards, I started like getting back in the groove, just going to things like store philanthropy, kids play stuff. And I have a leadership buddy, and her name is Amandeep. And Amin is amazing. We've been leadership buddies since like high school. So when I came back, we were going to a leadership conference, and driving back, it was like a 2-hour drive from like UBC to Surrey. Not 2 hours, like 1 hour. And then we were talking about how there's so many programs during the school year for kids to go and just start initiatives from, but there's nothing like over March break or May sort of thing. So then we were like, why don't we just do something? Why don't we plan something? So we called ourselves the campers, as in just planning a camp or like a conference of some sort. So then this was like in 2015. And then we were struggling to get our ideas across because we were like, we're not business entrepreneur kids. We don't have degrees, so like, what are we doing? So we reached out to mentors in the community, and they're like, hey, why don't you start small? Start a 2-night, 3-day conference at like, I don't know, a small little camp. So we Googled camps, and we found one that's near the USA-Canada border, and it's called Camp Hazelmere, and it has like 3 cabins, and you can fit 15 kids. So if you really like sandwich them in. So that's what we did. We rented out Camp Hazelmere, and then we planned a leadership camp for 2 days and 3 nights, and we cooked on a fire, started fires, and then not forest fires, like campfires.
Campfires.
Yeah, campfires.
That'd be dangerous.
Just clarifying that. And yeah, we did workshops and stuff, and it was amazing. We loved it.
So question, how do you get kids to sign up for this camp?
Yes.
And who funds this?
Okay, so in 2015, we just invited our closest friends. We're like, you know what, friends, we're starting this thing. Do you want to just come and be a part of it? Because we didn't know. Like, it was just all from Queen Elizabeth, just those kids in 2015. And then the following year, we realized that more kids wanted to be involved. So then we reached out to a bigger camp location, and that's where we are today. We are at Camp Alexandra Neighborhood House, and we call ourselves Camp We Empower now, which is a way awesome. Cool it's a cool name.
It is.
And how do people sign up? We have a website that we're getting updated, so I'll like put the link in the description.
Yeah.
And how else? Just by word of mouth. And we're at like almost every volunteer fair. Like there's one coming up soon, so we'll be there. And kids just sign up through their website, social media. We're on Instagram. So then there's that. And yeah, Camp We Empower is all about just empowering the next generation to be really involved in the community. Because if we want to build a sustainable community, we really need to shape the future. Wow. And just like Surrey's slogan is like, the future lives here. And if it does really live here, we gotta really shape up, you know?
Wow.
And that's
awesome.
That's amazing.
That's an amazing story.
Right. I have a question. So it's all of you and your team. You guys are all volunteers.
We're all volunteers.
super cool.
That's awesome.
And so.
So back to the funding. So who funds it then?
Yeah, funds. We fundraise, and a lot of it, to be honest, came out from Amandeep and myself, because when you're starting a business, you really need to like invest in it. So then it was basically our parents and us and just local friends and just sponsors that we knew, and they were so humble, and they were like, "Here, take this. Let's empower the next generation."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I met Amandeep at your.
Yeah, she's a bubbly one.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
That's amazing. What kind of stuff do you guys do with the kids there?
Yeah, so this is a 2-day, 3-night conference, and we jam pack it with inspirational things. So we do workshops, normally 3 to 4 workshops, and these workshops are not like sit down, learn sort of things. Yes, education is very important, especially life education. But we believe in taking action like on the spot sort of thing. So we get them involved in volunteer initiatives, we get them involved in action planning, and we bring mentors in from the community, and it's all just being a part of the community. And then workshops, we do we feed them, of course, so our meals are pretty awesome. The camp staff, they're really cool. And we also do things such as sustainability projects, which is getting them to plan a project. We help fund their projects, and then they do that in the community, and hopefully they keep that going. Because we want we empower just to be the starting of their journey and not the end. So that's our whole goal, just to like keep them
Okay.
That's super cool. And like the more you guys do this, the more it creates a cycle for when they get older. They want to do it for others, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But in the sense of getting started, right? If someone listening right now, maybe young or old, they're like, hey, I want to get part of the community. Yeah. What advice would you give to get started?
Yeah. Keep a journal, or write it all down somewhere. I know sometimes a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'll write it down in my head, or I have all of this piece in my head. Trust me, a pen and paper is so powerful. So write your ideas down, get yourself together before you, just reach out to other people and network, because it's all about talking and communication as well. And you have to, you just have to reach out of your bubble. And once you do that, as long as you have one person on your side, or like if you reach out to at least like 1 or 2 people, I'm pretty sure that if your idea is awesome and you're really passionate about it, they'll be on board.
Super cool. And so in terms of like volunteers for people on your team, can anybody come and help you guys out and volunteer?
You have to be able to walk and talk. So if you're 2 and over, you're more than welcome to join us on our planning committee.
That's awesome, right? How about for kids that are in the camp? What's like the age demo?
Yeah, so we aim for high schoolers, so grades 8 to 12. But last year we had some grades 6 and 7ers join us too, and they were so awesome. So we're thinking about expanding and maybe just doing elementary school, middle years, and high school.
Yeah. And if you do that, would it be one camp, or would you have 3 separate ones?
It would probably be 2 separate ones. So like elementary school and then middle school and high school.
Okay.
Super cool.
Cool. And then you just came back from Kenya, right? Can you talk about that?
I did, yeah. I came back not too long ago, and I'm really suntanned, and like sun lotion is butter on my skin. It doesn't do anything. It's unbelievable. Like I came home and my parents didn't even realize who I was. They're like, what happened? I was like, yeah. And my dad was like, are you Latina now? I was like, no, I'm still Fijian. But it was an amazing trip. Yet again, it was with Nitui, and this was my second trip with them. It was with, again, 24 kids from all around Canada, and our main goal this time was to teach kids, it was English and music, and to build more classrooms. Wow. And the reason, so Midui has like different things you can pick, and I always pick the education sector because that's what I really like doing. I like educating. So then, so we did there, and I was there for a month, and this was not a vacation at all. So we had no running water, no electricity. We were tenting in the middle of nowhere. Well, actually, it was in a place called Kisaruni, which is like an hour away, or an hour and a half away from Narok, which is a place in Kenya. And we really got to experience firsthand what the villagers go through and how their daily life is, and just everything that you can ever imagine. A couple highlights from the trip would probably be, actually first I'll throw some facts out there. So for Kenya, 30% of families live on $1.25 a day, and that totally blew my mind.
That's eye-opening, right?
A family, not one person.
Yeah,
wow.
Like it could be a family up to 8 people, or up to like 2 people. But that $1.25 a day, that's nothing.
That
like,
just shows how much we take for granted every day, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like for $1.25, can you get anything at Starbucks for $1.25? Maybe a croissant, but like that's
not
about
even.
it. Not even. Wow. That just speaks volume. $1.25. And then we know that 40% of Kenyans, they live underneath the poverty line. So then that's a huge margin, because like the whole continent of Africa is 1.2 million or something like that. So just basing that off, that's mind blowing. Wow. And it was an amazing trip, and highlights besides the facts where we got to do something called the water walk, and the water walk is something that the mamas and the families do in the village that we were in, and they do this walk. It's like an 1.5-hour walk to a borehole sort of thing, and they get water, and then the water that they're drinking though is not clean. It's like mud brown. It's like hot chocolate in a river, and that was really mind-boggling to hear, because they have to walk an 1.5 hours to go get water. It's not even clean. So then that's how, number one, malaria can happen. Number two, so many other diseases, and that's why the death rate there is so high too. And it's known that some people don't even make it past their 5th birthday, and that is unbelievably scary, and that's all because of the water in the health system. So yeah, doing the water walk was really eye-opening. We had to walk an 1.5 hours from our campsite to get water, and then carry 50 pounds of water on our back all the way home. Oh. Yeah. Oh. And I have never carried water on my back, let alone been to Kenya. So that was amazing, to be honest, just to experience that. And knowing that they did that more than once a day, that's unbelievable. They have so much strength, especially the mamas. They have to carry a family. It's amazing.
So you carried 50 pounds of water.
50 pounds of water.
Not even to work to get paid, just to survive.
Just to survive.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? It makes me feel like a horrible person. Sometimes I walk home with my shopping bags from Walmart.
Yeah.
And I'm 50 pounds, and it's my hands start to hurt. I'm like, yo, what? I should have just hopped in a taxi.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I used to think the same exact way, and then it started going on volunteer trips, and it's we take so much for granted back home, especially things like education, water, even just doors, and just small little things. It's
is there washrooms?
What? Okay. So for 2 weeks we didn't have washrooms. So, but then for the last 2 weeks we had pit toilets and stuff. So that was reasonable.
So that whole experience, kind of when you came back to Canada, how did you feel in the first couple of days?
Ooh. Jet lagged for sure. It's 27 hours to get there.
Wow.
But other than that, I was in culture shock, to say. I melted down when I came home for a good 2 hours, and I don't cry. I'm pretty stable, but I did melt down only because as soon as I got home, I was okay, we have electricity and water and all these amazing things are just running through my head, and it's I understand that we take all of this for granted, but sometimes people around us, they take it for granted. We watch them do these things, so it hit home for me, because I was just struggling to figure out, how am I going to present this to everyone else? How am I going to inspire them to limit their water use, limit their their ways of blocking themselves to get into school and all these other stuff. So that was just a struggle for me, just for the couple of hours when I came home. But after that, I was okay. I really did reconnect with the people I went on the trip with, because we all went through the same experiences. So we were just all talking back and forth, trying to see how we can present to other people. But overall, I was in culture shock when I came home, for sure.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So my question to you is, cell phone down there?
Cell phone?
Yeah.
No Wi-Fi, no
Wi-Fi,
wow.
No power, you can't even charge it. So you had to leave everything at home.
I did take my cell phone. I used to be in Girl Guides, so back in high school. So then they taught us to use solar chargers. So I took a solar charger with me. So then when I got there, the first thing I did was open it up in the sun, and then it just absorbs all the energy. So I did plug my phone. I had my phone just for music and for taking pictures.
Cheers.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so just get a message out there. If you're really planning on volunteering overseas, I really do recommend Me to Eat or Feed the Children. Safety is their number one priority, and they'll give you an amazing time, because they do truly believe not in just traveling, but they believe in traveling with a purpose. And that's Me to Eat in a nutshell. They give you all the touristy things, you'll go on, if you do go to Kenya, you'll go on safaris, and you'll go on nature walks, but you'll also get to do the nitty-gritty stuff and just get more involved in the community.
Super
Me
cool.
to Eat is a way to go if you're thinking about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because then you can see a whole new side, right? And that's
Yeah.
the really the way for people to change to all these little things every day.
Yeah.
Super cool. Do you ever think about sharing your story? Do you documenting it, whether it's video or doing blogs and stuff?
Yeah. I'm writing a book, and it's called Because We Can. And it's all about basically all my leadership experiences from when I was the bus story from when I was in grade 2 up to now. And it's just all encompassed in this one book. And my goal with this is just to inspire other people, just to take action for a better world and get more involved in our community. because if we don't do anything, like the world will not change if we don't do anything about it, and that's basically the whole purpose of the book.
That's awesome.
Super
and
cool.
when is this book coming out?
Don't quote me on this, but January 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
We'll get
if
it
it's
back
ready,
on the podcast,
if it's,
right?
yeah, we'll get it back when the book's
Yeah.
out for sure.
Yeah.
To
Awesome.
talk about the gap, but
Cool.
if the book is out and you're watching this in the future, the links will be in the description for the book too.
There we go.
Or maybe even a pre-order link.
Hey.
Maybe a
There you
promo
go.
code.
Oh, that
You're
too.
gonna find that down there.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. We'll hook you up.
Awesome. So, are you like connected with the distribution channel as well? Then, or
No.
no?
Oh wait. That's what you mean. Yes. Wait. Are they called
so
distribution channel or
a
are they?
publisher and then a distribution channel? Like there'll be a set team. They're only.
Oh
commissioners
yes.
to sell.
It's like I'm working with a group where everything's just like all combined. So all I have to do is just write the book and get an illustrator, which I have. And he's pretty dope. He's from Surrey.
Cool.
And then shout out to Prab Dylan. You're amazing. And then just give all the info to them, and they'll just get it out there for me.
Nice.
Wow. And then do they take an upfront fee, or is that going to be out of book sales?
Upfront fee and book sales. So
Cool.
yeah.
Oh.
That's super
That's
cool.
awesome.
So what's like your mindset right now? Just like writing the book every day or whenever you can.
Yeah, whenever I can. I love writing and I like English, so it's for me it's like a passion. And yet again, I know that a paper and pen, it's so powerful. So I believe like all the experience I went through for a reason, and it's never a dull moment. Just like writing, work, and school.
And you're super young. That's another cool thing, right?
Yeah.
It just shows for anybody out there listening, if you take action towards your dreams, anything can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And don't let your age stop you from taking action from a better world, because to be honest, the younger you are, the more creative you are sometimes. And I know there can be a barrier between the adult language and like youth language, but the whole goal here is just to connect and network with people, because people will want to help you, especially if you're young. And even if you're in your 30s or 40s, it doesn't matter. It's just, it all starts with us. It all starts with one action, one thought, one imagination.
Super rad. I love it.
I believe in working backwards. So planning 5 to 10 years, but working backwards. Work backwards. So think about your plan 5 years from now, where you want to be, and what are you going to do to get there. So develop a ladder plan, develop how you're going to get there, and just work your way back. And that way, 5 years from now, you'll get to where you want to be.
She's intelligent, dude.
Yeah. So that whole strategy you just gave, is that something you took from a book or just from years of experience?
Years of experience. And I just use the ladder method, and that's something that I don't think I've read anywhere yet.
The ladder method.
Ladder method, and the rock climbing method is another good one. Have you heard about it?
No.
Ooh.
Love to hear.
Okay, it's something. Actually, no, because I'm gonna. Okay, cool. Why would you hear about it? It's crazy, but it works. So I call it the rock climbing method. It's all about support system and milestones and journeys. So the harness is your support system and the village that raised you up, and your cheerleaders are the people at the bottom. So if you fall, you're gonna fall on them, and they're gonna raise you back up. And then the string attached is like your 5-year, 10-year plan. And then the rocks that you're climbing on are like things like awards and recognitions, milestones, people that you meet, and everything like that. And the bell at the end is a chapter to a new beginning. So as soon as you ring that, it's like the new rock climbing wall gets harder and harder and harder.
Wow.
I love how you said that, and because like I thought you were gonna say it's the end when you ring the bell,
never the end.
but no, it's
The
just the
new
beginning
chapter.
of the new chapter.
That's amazing.
That's freaking beautiful.
I'm gonna use that.
Sweet.
Oh
When
my
we're back on the
god!
podcast,
It's in
I'm
the
just
book.
gonna-
Yo, Rochelle.
Yo,
It's in the
it's
book.
up. That's in the book.
Oh my
I
god!
have to read
I'm
that
so
book.
ready for your
I'm
book.
so grateful
Like,
that we
take
had
my
this
money now.
conversation.
You'll get a free copy. What are you talking about?
Oh, guys!
I can't wait to read that.
Oh my god!
That's amazing.
How much of your time do you put into this book?
It's
Is it
just-
every day or?
It's been 2.5 years. So then I'm a planner.
Yeah.
So I love like calendars and notebooks and planning things. So at least I started off like 2 hours a day, but then university hit. So I'm like, I can't do this. So about like half an hour a day. I wake up pretty early, and then actually I'll tell you my routine. So that way you'll
Awesome! Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
the routine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Rochelle gets up at like 4:35, and then I write for half an hour, just mindfulness, because it's really important to take care of your mental health as well. So anything like artistic, so like writing, drawing, even just yelling in a pillow. Like I did, like for half an hour, I just do something that just releases a lot of stress and anxiety in the morning, and then I write for about another half an hour, and then I just get ready for like school or work, and then that's about it. It's pretty short. So then that's how I write, just in the morning.
Super cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that 30 minutes is creative writing or towards the book?
That 30 minutes, normally it's nothing to do with anything I'm doing in my life. So it's like completely different. So it's like either drawing something that I see outside that's not related to work or anything, just to get my mind off like everything.
So you're just getting like a creative space and just being free.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Because some people, you know, they use that, they work out or they do something to relieve their stress from their daily struggles. It's super cool.
Thanks.
Super cool.
Wow.
I recommend it.
That's something I should try, yeah.
Yeah,
super
for sure.
cool.
Not at like 4:30, but like if you want to do it in the afternoon or something, that works too. But yeah.
So basically, essentially, you wake up 4:30.
Yeah.
You do this 30-minute writing. Now it's 5, and then shower and just take on the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
That's amazing.
And, wow. And then where does your book come into the day? Is it like daily or?
It's daily, and it's half an hour in the morning, and then normally like I have meetings with people just to get the book going. So that happens like once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah.
Super cool.
And are you 100% writing this yourself or ghostwriter as well?
Ooh, 100% myself. I want to be as authentic as possible. So I want people to know that, hey, this is coming from a Surrey youth person, and myself.
This is nuts because you started writing this, if I'm not correct, 16 and a half years old. What was I'm gonna write a book? What was that?
Oh my gosh, that's funny that you asked, because I never thought, when I was 16, I used to write a lot just in my journal, just ideas and thoughts, you know? And then I never thought, okay, good. Okay, we're good. I never thought it would become a book, but then I wrote so much, and my mom, when I was 16, I used to work at Denny's. So then, all my paycheck used to go towards, buying pens and notebooks for, new things. And then it got to a point, it's like, yo, I'm spending too much on, journals. I should really put all this somewhere in, one collective book or something. So that way you don't have to, keep, writing and stuff. So then, my mom was actually the one, she was like, why don't you just write a book? I'm like, what? So then I did some research. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Roughly how much does it cost to publish a book?
Publish a book depends on who you're with. It's, for myself personally, I think it's about $3,000.
$3,000? Yeah. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Wow. To put your whole, experience.
Put your whole life in a book.
Wow.
Yeah. It's insane. I'm nervous, I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, I'm very humbled because I met so many cool people over these past, 19 years. And, I just can't wait for people to read it.
That's awesome. And then so you're going to carry on and write a book probably in 5 years' time, maybe, depending on where you're at.
Maybe. We'll see.
Cool. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
Yeah, so I see myself, I really wanted to work for the UN. So I'm in school, I'm double majoring in education and political sciences. That's where my passions really lie. So then I really want to work for the UN in 10 years, so that's where I see myself. Yeah.
Super cool.
Nice. So we're towards the end of our podcast.
Yeah.
And at the end of each podcast, we do 2 segments.
Okay.
The first one is the 60-second hustle. Okay. So you look at the camera and you share a message. This message could be to your followers. It could be to maybe a younger version of yourself, or just advice or something on your chest.
Okay.
And we give you 60 seconds.
Oh no.
you said a couple of messages though. So
yeah, you have. So you're gonna be good at that.
Yeah.
So, and the second one is
you call somebody up on the show.
Challenge.
Oh my gosh.
So you call who gets to come on.
Oh, only one person?
You look like you want to
call somebody else up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
Here, why
just-
not?
okay.
That's a new addition to the show, I guess, right?
Okay.
Why not?
Oh my gosh. Okay, give me
No.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be 60 seconds. It can be up to, for example.
Up to, because what we're trying to do is we're gonna clip into Instagram and go this is Rochelle's 60-second hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, a 60-second hustle. I have this slogan that I always use, and it goes like this: take action, think we, and be the change. I know it's pretty cheesy, but my message to y'all out there would be to take action. So take action for a better world, a better society, because it all does start with us, and it all just starts with one person, one idea, one thought. Take action, think we. Always think about others, and always think about yourself as well. But it's really important to think about others as well as people in the community, because together we are stronger. And be the change, of course. As it states, be the change. So be you, be authentic, be real.
I love it.
That's amazing.
You're so awesome.
That's a great message, right? I love it.
I just want to say personally that I feel like you are an amazing speaker.
And you're going far.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're going places. Just like the energy I feel in this room, it feeds off each other, right?
Cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah, so now, last part
And then
is
the call out.
calling out
Oh
next.
my god. Okay. Whew. So my 2 people are Prab Dylan and Deepak Sharma. You're up next.
Sweet.
Ooh,
We'll see you guys on.
All right, guys, and that's the end of our podcast. All of Rochelle's links will be in the description below for her camp, for her personal links, for everything. In the description below.
Cool. Awesome. Until next time, guys. See you later.
Peace.
Yeah, here we come.
Some kind of.
Here we come. Here we come. Here we come.